Okay, so today's video should be a short one. I'm actually going to start hammer forming these two pieces, roll them over, turn them into, well, this is the passenger side one, so I'll make one passenger side one, and I'll make one driver's side one. That should be the passenger side one there, and that's the driver's side. And it just was marking here what I need to do. If you actually looked at it, you can see this actually needs to be shrunk along here, right there very dramatically. That's where I was having problems rolling it over before. And along here it actually needs to be stretched, I believe, because you're actually folding it down into that curve. Along here, I never had much trouble rolling this edge over. It doesn't look very even, but a little bit of hammer and dull aid even that out fairly nicely. Anyways, and then I have to go and cut that there because, like I said, that's where it changes directions on which way the fold goes. Anyways, probably isn't going to be much to see here today, but I'll show you guys the finished product here. I did trim this yesterday after I finished the other video, and like I said, marked it out. Anyways, I'll get back to it, and then I'll talk about some of the other things that with pressing here. Or I could tell it right now, I guess it doesn't really matter. There's another way to form stuff like this, or to do embossing, and that is that you'd still do the die, perhaps do the die, maybe you don't even have to do the die actually in one case. You make the bottom part of the die, which would form that shape, but you don't need the top part of the die, you don't need to fix it down. You just need a big piece of urethane, or even some people have used rubber, but they said the urethane, like the 80-90 Durham urethane, actually works really well for doing pressing and embossing, and I've seen some nice stuff done. So I probably could have done that this way, although I think a 1/2 inch deep shaping would have been a little bit much, because somebody said something to the effect that it takes about 10 times as much pressure to do the same amount of forming as with the die. But which would mean that this would have taken 50 to 60 tons of force, which I don't have that big a press. Anyways, let's get on to doing some hammer forming here. Okay, so here's my blank trapped in the dies for hammer forming. So I've marked off. I already cut here, because that's actually where the transition is. And this part gets folded up, that part gets folded down. So I clamped all on the side that I'm not going to work on, and I'm going to work on this side first. And then we'll flip it around. We'll actually move a couple of the clamps here, and we'll work that side down. Now I probably should trim it a bit more, but I don't know exactly how much I need. So, well, actually, you know what I will do is, if I trim 3/8 of an inch off on here, well, I'm just going to hammer form it. We'll see how it goes on the next one. I'll try trimming it if this one doesn't go as well as I'd like. So let's get to doing this one. There you go, all done. So that's the passenger side one. I used some Dicam so I could mark out where I want to cut it to length. I think she's looking pretty good. And yes, it was a lot of effort to go into just this one little bit here, and for something that's not going to be seen, but you know what? For what it's worth, let's see if we can see it better under here. I learned a lot making that, and if I have to do anything else that is comparable, hey, I got the experience to do it again. Okay, so that gets set aside. Might as well make the driver's side one at the same time. I know it needs it. It actually looks like it got kind of crunched up. I think somebody put a jack under there at some point. See, it's pushed up a bit. It's also covered with oil, because that doesn't look like undercoating. Anyways, so once that one gets done, I guess I'll come out tomorrow and we'll cut out the bottom of that one, or I may not. I have to see about the front part here and about how I'm going to fix that up. because there's a fair bit of perforation here that I'm just going to fabricate a piece for. It's pretty much all flat surfaces, I think. And we'll fill that up, and then we'll work on cutting out this piece here. Might as well just go right up to the top here. It's pretty much a flat piece. I also have to fabricate my bumper brackets, and hopefully, well, maybe this weekend I can have this all done. No telling. Anyways, I'll bring you guys back when I get this one shaped. There's probably not a lot to really see. You're probably wondering why I would just mention that I did it and to show you the end result. But the end result was, well, I can show you, well, I showed you the form before, but it took a lot of hammering and dollying to get it to conform to that shape. You just have to keep going over and over again, and hopefully it doesn't kink. It was starting to kink a bit here. You can kind of see this corner. I did shrink it a fair bit before I did anything. I think I will shrink this one more. I already did shrink it some, but I'll shrink it some more. I think that did help, and then we'll form that one. I don't know what else to tell you here. I didn't have to pie cut this one, so that is an improvement over this one. Even, you know, there's actually, what am I looking at here? Yeah, that is the opposite side. This one's the passenger side one. This is the driver's side. That's the way it's supposed to go. So actually doing that heavy shrinking was a good idea there, Greg. Appreciate the suggestion. And I think what I'm going to try and do with this one is I'm going to try and trim it pretty close to the final length here. Now that I have a pretty good idea about that one, I can cut a lot of this off, because the more that was there, the harder it was to roll it over. It was just resisting it too much, and it work hardens after a while as well. You know, the more you pound on it, the more it's going to, you know, well, first of all, when you're shrinking, you're thickening the metal, but also you're work hardening it and making it harder to cut, harder to beat over, and all that other fun stuff. Anyways, this is probably going to end up being another long video again, so I'll try and make the next segment very short. So there we go, done. That's the passenger side one. And I'll probably end up cutting out right to that edge there that you can see. I'll have to see when I actually put it up there, but I won't keep a lot of this, I don't think. And that's the pair of them. Might be a slight inconsistency in this location here. I can tell that it's not, this is a little bit less rounded here. Probably roll that over a bit more. I'll have a look at it when I before I put it in. I can actually check it out right now. Put that in there. Actually, it looks like that matches pretty well. How about that one then? No, same story. Okay. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I got to figure out how I can preserve these things. I don't think it's that likely that I'm going to ever make another set of these again, but in case I do, you know, there's a fair bit of work in that. I'll have to hit them with some sort of a sealer, you know, like just probably house paint or something like that. But that way they won't deteriorate. They won't absorb moisture, and these ones especially might be kind of susceptible to that because it kind of got some cracks in them now. So, anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.